The luxurious La Bella Spa Salon offers the best personal care for your improved quality of life.
At El Bosco Bistro and Wine Bar, you will enjoy elegant, private dining with an old-world cuisine containing sustainable ingredients from the farm to your table.
La Bella Spa Salon has the latest in CBD therapy. Feel better with a botanical hemp massage or choose natural CBD products to treat pain, PTSD, and anxiety.
Enjoy the world-class experience that will leave you renewed, refreshed, and looking your best. La Bella Vita. You deserve it.
The service department at Gala Chevrolet is clean, modern, and ready for you. Our master technicians service every make and model, including certified service on any GM vehicle. Service done right the first time, every time, right here at the all-new Gala Chevrolet. At Gala Chevrolet, our master technicians service every make and model no matter where you purchase your vehicle. But that's not all. We also provide certified service on every GM model. So if your car's been acting a little funny lately or something just doesn't seem right, don't wait. Bring it into the most modern service facility in the entire state and let us make sure that you're driving a vehicle you and your family can depend on. Service done right the first time, every time, right here at the all-new Gala Chevrolet.
Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show. Special guest tonight is Gerard Pineda, head baseball coach at La Cueva, also the 2018 state champions, back-to-back, 2017, 2018.
Pretty cool.
Over 50% on your batting for 5 and 9 in the last 10 years, out of the 5 out of 9 in the last 9 years. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. It's been a good run. It was a good team, and it was a fun year. You know, they played well down the stretch and you know, had a good outcome.
Well, I stole that from Adam Deal because I think he threw that in your interview about 5 for 9. So that's, you know, it wasn't glad of the years of, but that's you know, every year's when you win the state championship special. You know, really, what's special about this year? I mean, that's a little different than the other previous 4.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I kind of been waiting for that question. You know, the one about what's your favorite championship. Obviously, the latest one is very special. The first one's always really special. You just kind of getting through that first time. But you know, obviously with Jack and a lot of his buddies, because I saw those guys growing up, you know, playing together. You know, so this one was really cool that way. And to go back to back in a year that, you know, I'm not sure how many people thought we were going to be in that position. I wasn't sure we were going to be in that position myself, but you know, it was a lot of fun to experience it with my son.
You know, I even said that. I think Adam had me on my show. Had me on my show. He's interviewing me on. That's where I rate in my company. But anyway, I had the Steve Davis show, and Adam was deal. But he asked me what was my favorite moment of the year, and I said actually 2 were my favorite. When that was Adrian Ortega and his son.
Right.
Okay, and yours and your son, because of. You know, there's a fine line of coaching and also being a father, and also, you know, it takes a special combination of both, and you have your wife involved in the middle of it too. We got the referee in the middle of
That's
it too.
Right. Exactly. It's like you've been in our kitchen.
so it's neat to see the success to happen, and that goes back to Joe Coleman when he won the basketball. Right. I mean, so I kind of look at those as my top 2 things that really stick out for me this last year.
Yeah, you know, I think even last year, I didn't really experience it last year, and I didn't even think about it that much in detail until Adam had asked me after that 2007 championship, and you know, I was like, you know, I've been used to coaching him, but to be able to have that success on that stage. You know, and then the cool thing this year, too, is that he played really well. You know, I went back and I was watching the game the other night, in fact, last night of the Carlsbad game where, you know, Jack was able to get that 2-out hit in the 6th, you know, kind of he put us up. And then, you know, and the fact that he played really well and had a good state tournament is a bonus.
Well, anytime that, I mean, any one time you win a state tournament's a bonus, but having your son on it's also special. And it was, you know, and we'll get to it here in a little bit, but you know, there's some special moments that we caught on camera, and it'll bring back some memories of what happened that week. But you know, going into the season, like, coming off, you know, a state championship, it's hard, you know, back to back. I mean, you know, it's not like, you know, I think you and La Cueva, you know, there's 4 teams that you can almost think about always in the state tournaments. Always seems like it's Carlsbad, Rio Rancho, and yourself, and you know, El Dorado. I mean, you think about those teams over the last, you know, 25, 30 years. It seems like those were always the teams that are always in the finals. But starting this year, I mean, what was your expectations?
Well, I thought that the team, you know, defensively, when we had, you know, Austin Schlegel and Jack coming back and moving Johnson from left field to center, defense I thought was going to be, well, I knew it was going to be really good again.
And y'all stride the defense this year. I mean,
that was kind of our real bread and butter. I mean, pitching staff did a heck of a job, and I gave them, I need to keep giving them props, but Coach Opperman did a heck of a job with that pitching staff. You know, we had just shown him in returning.
A guy like Stroman,
yeah, you know,
goes in there just level-headed.
Well, and it was pretty cool because, you know, what Ben was able to do in 17, you know, he kind of takes that role of Stroman this year in 18. So the key was trying to find somebody who could be able to get close to what Ben did. I mean, I think Ben went 10-0 his sophomore year, and, you know, for a first-time varsity guy to do that is a little bit, you know, out of the ordinary. And, you know, we were hoping to find somebody who could do something like that. And then, you know, Hunter Boyden jumps in there and ends up going 10-0. And he kind of fills that role. And then we had some other guys, you know, Chad Kirshen fills the role of a Devin Boren and a Wes Alexanderson from the year before. So, you know, just those pieces fell into place, which, you know, dropping those first 2 games of the year, Valley and Las Cruces, you know, now I'm thinking I'm not sure where we're going to get that production from, but, you know, those guys really stepped up, and I can't say enough good things about the pitching staff. You know, because the other part was offensively. You know, I really knew with Jack coming back and Johnson and moving Schlegel up into the front of the order, top of the order, offensively we're going to have a chance to be pretty good. So the big question mark heading into the year was pitching, as it usually is, and will be again next year.
Well, Gerard, we're going to go to the Dream Style Top 10 Plays of the Week, and we'll come back and show a few highlights of your 3 winning games to winning the state championship.
Sounds good.
That's driven, that's deep, that's gone. That's a 2-run bomb turned in by Gabby Gomez. Second. Gotta give them a lot of gas lifting in the air to right field. That's drifting, and gone. That one drifting, the wind caught that baby and just kept it going. And Kinger comes up.
This one is
that's
hammered out
over
to
his
left
head,
field.
yeah.
That's gone!
It's a home run.
A 2-run shot for Austin Schlegel, and La Cueva out in front 3-1. First homer in Isotope Park.
That's pulled well in to right, and it's gone! First inning homer for Martinez. Oh my God, that was wild. Who would have thought of that, huh? The Falcons.
They're very look at this. Schlegel going to hand it off to Pineda. Off the bat. No, the tag is there. Out!
Division 1. Driven deep to center. Back, going back. Gone! Gomez on the 3-run bomb to straightaway center field. And you said it, explosive. Corners remain up. That's driven up the middle for another base hit. They're gonna wave him around from second. Here comes the throw. Got him!
Boy, that one heavily out to left field, getting underneath it. Ramos makes the play, the grab, and it's over. The 2018 state champs. It's the La Cueva Bears, their 10th in school history. And what a play to seal it up. We'll talk with your dad now. The big hug, that's priceless right there.
It is Bird who got a good jump off there. But right next to Bird, though, is Volcano's Alejandro. This could be Bird. Take it at least.
It's a clean start. Jordan Bird there already in front with a white headband. It's not even close, ladies and gentlemen. This kid is something special. And Bird with a 10-5-8. He just missed it. Jordan Bird already blowing everyone out of the water.
Hey, welcome back to Steve Davis Show. We have Coach Gerard Pineda, head baseball coach at La Cueva High School, and also the 2017 and 18 state champions, and back-to-back state champions. And wow, I did that well, didn't I?
You did.
How's that? Is that 2018 hit the bell yet? So.
You know, it's just kind of been busy since the season ended. I had to get all my regular job stuff done and grading and getting caught up with that stuff. I thought you were too busy because you've been signing my autographs for the last 2 weeks. So. I've been spending as much time as I was spending on the field. I've been trying to spend in my classroom or at home getting caught up. So, you know, the next couple of weeks will be real enjoyable. It'll be finally a time to finally take a little time off.
Well, I tell you, you know, going into the state tournament, you know, what a run. You lose your first 2 games,
right.
You know, and I think we can joke about it, but I think Valley is you know, I should have just said, hey, why don't you just come talk to me at the end of the year, because Valley beat you the first game last year and beat you the first game this year. You start off 0-2 this year.
Right. Yeah, you know, I don't know that's happened before. I know we started out a couple of years ago. We were 1-2, but you know, to start off the year 0-2, there's a lot of questions going through my head. And the nice thing is that second loss was the first game of a doubleheader there against Las Cruces, so you get to bounce back right away. And came
back with a 10-0 victory the next day, so that kind of. You got some people's attention.
Right. Well, they got the ball going again. You know, I think in those first 2 games, you know, we kind of made some mistakes that we didn't make later in the year. And so that's one thing I told the guys early, was that I think our best baseball was in front of us. And, you know, unfortunately, that proved to be true.
When you go on a winning streak, and then you get into the, I guess it's not the same, it's the playing game, or I guess we would say it's the state tournament, but it's your home deal. And Trisco Heritage gave you everything you needed.
Yeah, and that was a good team. I think we ended up playing them 5 times this season, the 3 in the postseason. But we played them in the quarterfinal round of the Metro tournament, and they were a really good club. And in fact, after we got done playing them, it was a 10-7 game, very similar to the final game of the series. But we were up like 7-0, and they come back and tie it. I mean, that was probably one of the best, if not the best, offensive team that we faced all year. And then the middle of their order, 3, 4, and 5. So. I was very concerned. You always know that there's a possibility in the back of your mind that you can get beat any day. But I coming out for game 2 of that series, that first round series, we're probably a little bit overconfident. We'd beaten them 10-0 the night before. We'd beat them 20-0 mid-year, and I think we kind of needed a little bit of a wake-up call.
And it even went into the third game,
right?
I mean, because they were right there, like you feel like the 4th or 5th inning, and y'all had a little rally of your own.
Yeah, we jump out to a 4-0 lead there in like the 3rd or so, and we give up a run. We give up kind of a cheap run on I think it was a walk and a balk, and we wild pitch in that first run to make it 4-1, and we still felt pretty good, pretty comfortable. But then again, it was their middle of their order. It was Barboa, Quintana, and Harden, I think, were the ones that did the bulk of the damage. And we go from 4-1 up to down 5-4 with 9 outs to go, and again that kind of hits the back of your mind. But I said this before, is that there really wasn't any panic amongst the guys.
You said that in the paper, they were ready. It was just they accepted the challenge and they took care of business and move on. Is it basically right?
And that's exactly it's the way they came in. Obviously, they knew the situation. There was some concern on the faces, and I'm sure on mine too. But that was we'd kind of given them some little challenges throughout the year. The first one was against Mitchell Parker, because Mitchell had come off a couple of games where he'd punched out a bunch of guys. He'd coming off of 10 or 11, 12 strikeout games, and we kind of put a challenge to them to see, okay, can we kind of strike out 6 or less? And I think we ended up striking out 7, but like 4 of them were in the first 2 innings, and so we were able to chase him in the 6th, I believe. His pitch count got up, I think, is why he ended up coming out. But the last couple innings he was in, I think 3 innings we punched out 2 or 3 times. So, they've always accepted challenges. Obviously, that's a huge challenge with 9 outs to go in your season potentially, and to jump back. And what can you say about Hunter Straub in that 2-run home run to put us up?
Well, then you just moved right on to Cleveland. Got some highlights of the Cleveland game, and we'll let you be Adam Deal for a few minutes here.
All right, check this out.
Good crowd.
Yeah, it was. That's such a great atmosphere, and the Isotopes and their staff do an unbelievable job. But when Schlegel hit that ball, I wasn't sure it was going to get out. I knew it was going to get over the kid's head, but it just kept carrying. What an exciting day for that kid. Moment.
You didn't wear your Cleveland uniforms against them, where that kind of threw me off last year a little bit. I couldn't know who was who, but
I couldn't do that to Shane.
So you get the win there, and then you move on to the next game, Carlsbad,
right.
Which is, I don't care. You say Carlsbad, and it's here it comes right here.
Yeah, you say Carlsbad, you think baseball. I think that's what I think of, and this was. There's that piece of hitting. So this was a huge, to get out of that 2nd and 3rd, nobody out, or the 1 out, not giving up that run. That was
your
big.
Defense came through for you.
Yeah, they definitely did. The double plays that we got there, and a huge at bat right there by Bryce. He'd struggled a little bit the previous at bat, and fouled off a good breaking ball, I think, right before that pitch, and then singles up the middle to help us extend that lead.
Well, I tell you, then you win that, and you have Pedro Vista coming in, and we're going to jump to that, and then we'll come back in the last segment and talk more about that day. But let's show the highlights of that, Josh. Beautiful weather.
Unbelievable. Best state tournament weather I can remember.
And this is where your bats and your defense and just everything, you just put it together. It seemed like one of those days, right?
Right. You know, that's what we kept talking about all year, is if we could put it together, we'd be in good shape. You know, our every year or throughout the year, it was like one area was a little bit lacking, and, you know, between pitching and offense. And the other group did a good job of picking us up when we weren't hitting. The pitchers, you know, were throwing shutouts, and a couple of days when the pitching wasn't quite as sharp, we were able to put up quite a few runs. So.
Well, what were you thinking at this point right here? I know besides signing autographs and talking to the phone and getting all the things you do, but
you know,
what a great moment that is.
That is so cool. He's such a good kid. You know, for him to kind of go out of his way and do that, all his idea, or his mom's maybe.
Well, Gerard, we're going to come back and we're going to talk more about that moment of that week, and then what's going to happen next year.
Okay.
Full House Real Estate. At Full House Real Estate, we handle everything from home sales to property management. With us, our team is your team. Give us a call today, 505-244-1918.
As one of the only locally owned businesses in Albuquerque, Gala Chevrolet understands the importance of giving back to our community. And you'll feel good knowing the money you spend here helps make this a better place to live. Support the dealership that supports Albuquerque, the all-new Gala Chevrolet. As one of the only locally owned dealerships in Albuquerque, Gala Chevrolet understands the importance of giving back to our community. After all, we're not a franchise dealership or some corporate-owned conglomerate. We're a local business working hard to make this a better place to live. That's why you'll feel good knowing the money you spend here stays here and supports a long list of community organizations like the Police Department, Sheriff's Department, and many, many more. Support the dealership that supports Albuquerque, the all-new Gala Chevrolet.
At AC Prime, we cover cooling conversions to your plumbing needs. Locally owned and operated with hands-on owners. Call us today, 505-235-4904. AC Prime, our prime concern is you.
Hey, welcome back to Steve Davis Show. We have head coach, La Cueva head coach baseball, Gerard Pineda, 2017, 2018, back-to-back state champions. And, you know, we had in that last segment, you know, good moments, like you get back to sit back and do it now. You know, that's all fine and dandy, but now reality is that year's over, and I know you've been, like you just said, you've been very busy with school, and so what happens now?
Yeah, you know, we had our Legion tryout last Thursday and got to look
so you're
at some
right back on the field.
Yeah, we did tryouts last week for the incoming freshmen. We've done the last several years. We've done an incoming group. I think games start next week, maybe this weekend. Coach Garcia, our JV coach, runs most of the summer. But yeah, getting right back at it, kind of taking a look at some potential lineups, who's going to fit in certain spots. Obviously, we got some big holes to fill and big shoes to fill come next year. But you know, I think as in nearly every year, we're going to have a talented group again.
Well, it's a lot more interesting when the people come in the expectation. They're expecting to take that blue trophy next year. I mean,
Right.
it's kind of, I mean, you know, 5 out of 9 years. So that's kind of the expectations you put on your staff and put on yourself, and, and I think the school itself embraces all that. So in a positive way is what I'm saying.
Yeah, the administration definitely gets behind us. You know, and the kids have that expectation. I tell them all the time, you know, your job is to try to meet our expectations, whether it's on the field or off the field and in the classroom. But these guys know what's expected of them, or at least should have a really good idea. And now hopefully you've seen what how much hard work goes into it. And so, yeah, that's the thing
so
about
it's a reality. You just don't show up and get that blue trophy.
Yeah.
Now they get the work over the next. It starts now, and it doesn't wait till next after March next year.
Right. You know, in fact, we kind of set it up. I try to run it pretty close to what I did when I was coaching in college. We'll do some inter squatting and some on the field stuff for September and October, mid-November or so. We basically put the bats and the balls away, and we just do a lot of conditioning. And not in baseball that you have to be in great physical shape to play the game. It's not a big endurance game, but we do a lot of agilities and conditioning for a mental toughness aspect, And I tell them, I said, that's why I'm going to do this. We're going to do it. It's going to be hard. Everybody's going to have to be involved, and and hopefully those benefits will pay off down the road. And and this year and even last year, a couple of times I heard the guys going, man, we didn't run that much and go through a lot of that stuff, to come up short. So I think it definitely pays its dividends come May.
Well, I mean, like you said, there's a price for the blue trophy, and it's hard work. I mean, it's real simple, and especially with as you've found out the last 2 years that people, it starts out the first day of the season. You just don't show up with that blue trophy and expect to win the game. I mean, it's and I know we laugh about it, but it is you haven't seen your schedule, but is Valley going to be on top of your schedule next year too?
Well, if they are, I kind of like where that's heading. But we try to win every game, and at that point in the year, I felt even going into that game, I told the kids afterwards, we weren't quite as prepared, and so that was on me. There's a couple things we tried to do in that Valley game that we weren't successful doing, and part of it was we hadn't spent as much time on certain aspects of the game, primarily defensively.
So you're
before
learning to
that.
coach. Every year you second guess yourself sometimes.
Well, yeah, I think it's good business, good leadership, or so, whatever you want to call it, is to go back and do some self-reflecting. And yeah, there's a couple things that I definitely could have done differently. And when in time you stop growing or trying to get better is when it's time for you to probably hang it up and go do something else.
Well, a little change next year. The district changes.
Right.
And it's a baseball district. This is what I consider really. Baseball is in the Farmington area is huge.
Well, yeah, when you go and obviously we get to stay with El Dorado, which is fun because that's that good healthy rivalry. But then you add Piedra Vista and Farmington. Coach Hilton over at West Mesa's got those guys playing better, and they're going to be somebody to reckon with as the years go on. But it's baseball town USA, Farmington, New Mexico, right? And we got both the high schools in that town in our district, so it'll be fun. And you better be ready to go every time you step on the field. And
a little different change, and you have to travel. I mean, that's a big thing that people need in the first year. It seems like just getting used to traveling to Farmington, because you're going to come to hostile environment when you go to Farmington.
I do know. I haven't seen the schedule. In a good way, that's what I'm saying. It's a good town, and they support their teams really well. I do know that we have to travel to Farmington both times this year, so we'll be up there to play Piedra Vista and Farmington High. We have to travel there, and we know a little bit about it because we had to go to Clovis in 2017, in Santa Fe, which is just up the road, but. So we had a little bit of experience with travel, obviously not as much as other teams in the state. So we'll have to kind of get our guys used to getting up and hopping on a bus.
Well, Gerard, I want to thank you again for being the 2018 and 2017 state champions, and it's always fun for you to come in. And also, thanks a lot for coming on the Steve Davis Show.
Well, I appreciate it, Steve, and I'll do whatever I can to help you guys. You guys do such a great job of promoting the kids in high school sports, so it's been totally my pleasure. Thank you.
Well, and hopefully we'll see you again next year at this time.
I hope so.